can I pass it on to yourself, Mr. Chris Dobbin, for the next round of business education?
Yes, so I'm taking on at the moment while Jim's travelling Wilbury around the different networking groups. He's trying to spread the word on I'm Just a Man, which is coming up later on, but we'll talk about that later. But what he's started on was each week he was doing a small insight into three or four things that you can do on LinkedIn. And this week I've just touched on a couple, and one of them is about is publishing long form content and use it to start a conversation. So generally, a lot of us in this group are pretty passionate about what we do. That's why we do what we do. But most of us don't get into this situation where we write down what we're passionate about, create an article on LinkedIn, and then try to get that conversation going so that you can create that awareness or that involvement in what you do. So consider something of that nature. It doesn't have to be massive. It just needs to be a 300, 400, 500 word article that is topical to something could start a conversation in your industry. This just may spark an opportunity for you to become a leader or a conversation with somebody who has an interest in that and wants to know more. So consider something that you might have in your back pocket that you're passionate about that you'd like to put out. There is an area on LinkedIn where you can publish long form articles, and consider that that may be an option for you depending on your business, but it may be a way to start a conversation. The other thing too is if you're struggling with what ideas to come up with, maybe follow some relevant influencers in your industry, because that could be something that trigger you to have your own audience and get your own influencing going. And the reason I say that is because sometimes influencers are unattainable people. They're people that are just kind of like, it's almost like they're TV stars, or they're not real people. They're just something that's there that sort of pops up on your screen, like a Richard Branson type character. We know he's real. We know he's done some amazing things, but we all know we're probably never going to meet him. Those that do, fantastic, but you're probably not going to. So create your reality where you might be attainable and reachable, and follow them, learn from them, think about how you might be able to adapt your version of their reality into yours, and see if you can create an audience around that. And the thing about that is add comments to other people. So if you see someone do something and they're doing what I've just said in number 1 or 2, add comments, because it raises your awareness to them, especially if they've got 1,000 odd followers or 10,000 or whatever the number is. There might be someone in that area that's still looking for a very local business doing a local service, and you may be that person. It's just that they're in a group that's got, you know, an international audience, but they still want to find someone local because they want to work local, depending on what your service is. So consider these sort of things as ways to raise your awareness. It's not going to cost you anything more than what you're already doing, because you're on the LinkedIn or you're on Facebook or whatever the case be, currently looking for that content yourself, and you found it, and it's your chance to get involved and see what comes from that. And you never know where these conversations take you. A lot of times when I work with clients on this stuff, it actually ends up turning into business. So consider these 3 tips as a way to start your journey on getting yourself aware of yourself and others, and see what comes from it. I'd love to hear feedback and stories. If anyone gets some success from trying these little tips out this week, that'd be fantastic. Back to you, Costa.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Round of applause for Mr. Chris Dobbin for his